Welcome to the NBA Coast to Coast podcast brought to you by TheLines.com. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by Nate Weitzer. He's on the East Coast, and we're running separate this morning. Had a little schedule conflict, so Nate is recording separate from myself, but we will toss it over to him to get into his player props in addition to the ones I'm going to bring you here. We've also got best bets up as we do each and every weekday. Some looks on some sides and totals for you. We have that in a separate episode, so make sure to subscribe to that page and follow both of these videos each and every weekday moving forward throughout this season. Let's go ahead and toss it right over to Nate for his first play a prop here from Monday.
Yeah, let's take Quentin Grimes, 21.5 points and rebounds. Not going to chase the recent assist production, but the rebounds are very good, I think, to pair with the points here. I mean, they have you on the edge in terms of like 5.5 boards is minus 130. If you want to go up one and get some plus money somewhere, that's great. I do think he's good for about 7. He's averaging 7.7 his last 3 here. With the second most rebound chances on the team, right behind Drummond, who's been splitting time with Embiid. 2 of those games were with Embiid, actually, who's now headed towards a shutdown. It would appear the Sixers are kind of going to move on with what they have here on the wing in Grimes and PG, and then Yabu / Drummond, which just puts a lot more on Grimes and PG to get down there and board. He does have the best rebound chance rate of all the guys mentioned here, 72% rebound chance rate in the last 3. Grimes has been doing it on both ends, really just like puzzling that he's on yet another team because he's been playing well for the Mavs. The Knicks refused to trade him, but here we are now, and here the Sixers are, where they're just like looking at the situation, like what has happened to our season with Paul George, just not a consistent no-show. So you look at the last time they played without Embiid, and it happened to be without Maxey. So I mean, I guess take that with a little grain of salt. But Grimes had 30 points on 30% usage against the Nets, a Nets team that plays extremely slow. Still grabbed 9 boards, still had 4 assists against that extremely slow, really good defensive team right now. Actually, the Nets are still number 1 in defensive rating in this last 10-game span. But Grimes stepped up in a variety of ways, while Paul George went 2, 6, and 4, 2 points on 1 for 7 field goal shooting. I just don't. Yeah, this man has fallen off a cliff. Grimes is young and athletic and capable of taking advantage of a Bulls team that really, shouldn't want to win this game, should want to keep sliding in this race, but I don't know if the Sixers want to win it either. But in any case, like, we're not going to get great defense from the Bulls. We never really do, especially on the wing. And they allow 3rd most rebounds to small forwards in their last 7 games since they've sort of, reshifted their team and sort of embraced the tank. So I think the boards are very good here. I mean, this is a good number at FanDuel. You can get 15.5 points there, I believe, as well for Grimes. And yeah, just the extra usage with Embiid, like nowhere to be seen on the horizon. I think the usage should continue to rise for Grimes here, rather than like the guys they were playing before, was like Council and Edwards and just like fringe NBA players, I guess. Certainly fringe starters. The Sixers are gonna need Grimes to be a big part of their team down the stretch.
My first look is going to be Josh Giddey. We're going with the Bulls guard, forward, do it all kind of man here. And I'm going to take him on the rebounds and assists. Those are up to 15.5. You can still get 14.5 for some pretty bad juice, but I think he should be listed at about 16.5 and would still be taking this at 15.5 rebounds, assists, if that's all you can get. This is heavily based on Ayo Dosunmu not being available, and that's going to be huge against the 76ers for Giddey specifically. On the season, he's played 8 games without Ayo. He's gone over the rebounds and assists in 8 of the 11. He's averaging on the season 16.5 rebounds and assists per 36 minutes without Ayo or Zach LaVine on the court. We know LaVine out in Sacramento now, so he's not going to be playing either. If you look at this Philly team, horrible rebounding team. If Joel plays, Josh Giddey is the exact prototype of player that you do want to get rebounds against this Philly squad. They are in the bottom 10 limiting forward rebounds because, I mean, one, they're a terrible rebounding team in general. Like they give up a ton of rebounds to most positions. Centers guarding Joel tend to struggle a bit more, so that is a big reason why I wouldn't be going towards Vooch for anything if Joel is in there. If Joel is out, it doesn't matter. Everything just goes up for everybody. But with Joel in there, it's still a very good bet here for Giddey on the board, specifically because of the fact, like I said, they give up so many to the forwards, and we always talk about Joel so busy battling with the center on the other team. Really, the other center is busy trying to limit Joel around the rim. That does inhibit their ability to get as many rebounds. So that's why we like the forwards on the boards. And as far as the assists for Giddey as well, well. Continues to average about 9 per 36 without Io. So you do like that number for him. He's been leading this team as the facilitator, leading them in passes, potential assists, passes made, etc. It's really not Kobe White's offense. Like Kobe White is a lot more of the off-ball guard, and you have Josh Giddey coming in and getting those boards against them. You look at the 2 games he's played this season without Levine and without Io, both missing, 18 rebounds and assists in both those games. So you can add the points. I'm actually not concerned about that. He is doing a bit more shooting, but we need him to shoot a pretty good percentage, and I don't really want to have to bank on that with Giddey. So I think you're still getting plenty of value on over 14 or 15.5 rebounds and assists.
And we're going to fade Lauri Markkanen, actually, with the Jazz hosting Portland. Under 30.5 PRA is minus 110 at DraftKings. I mean, a little worried about the points at 22.5, but I think he definitely can go under the RA, the 8 RA, even if he does get over there. This is actually a number when you pile them all together that he's gone under in 16 of his last 19 games since actually we took him on December 26th to get over against Portland, and he got there with 25 points. He went 4 for 8 from 3 in that game. Shot very well and Portland since then has completely refashioned their defense and become elite guarding spot ups. Just elite defense all around, but very good getting out on the 3-point line. Very good with their rangy wings. And if Ayton doesn't play in this one, that is fantastic. We get more Toumani Camara, Jabari Walker. We get guys who have helped limit power forwards to the 5th fewest points and fewest rebounds per game in their last 15 outings. And then you get the combination of Klingon and Rob Will on the back line, which is just elite rim protection. But, Mark hasn't even really been driving that much. You look at his last 6, he's 5th on the Jazz in drives with just a 15% pass rate. That has led to under an assist per game, 0.6, and 3 potentials. So there is room for growth there, but we're just not talking about many opportunities. We're talking about 1 assist in his last 3 games against the Blazers, too. So even when they were a bad defense, he wasn't necessarily playmaking. He has scored on this team, but like I said, this is a completely different defense at this point. It's among the best defenses in the NBA from what we've seen recently. And the rebounding is going to be tough. We're talking about a plus 118 probability for him to get 7 boards on FanDuel. So we're talking about you're lucky if you get 1 or 2 assists. You're lucky if you get 7 boards. So let's pile those on with the points because like I said, he's gone under consistently. In general, he's also gone under in 10 of his last 11 when John Collins is active. And that's going to be a key status to note here. Both of these guys are going to be questionable with lower back soreness, as we always see with the Jazz. Collins sat out the last game. Maybe he comes back, and that does shift Markkanen's position a little bit. So you're like, maybe he doesn't have as much of that power forward matchup that seems to be so tough against Portland. But Deni Avdija is still playing very well in terms of like who would match up with him at small forward. And Portland will cross match all the time. But as far as why he's not getting boards is because Walker Kessler is gobbling 14.5 with nearly 28 rebound chances in his last 3. And his prop is set at 14 rebounds again. So it's just a big man's board game right there. With Collins out there, Mark is just acting like a guard essentially defensively. He's not mixing it up for the boards. Like I said, he has not been aggressive driving. Utah behind closed doors is certainly like, let's see what we have with this Collier, Keyonte George backcourt. And those guys have huge potential assist output. Markkanen, not so much. Those guys are driving and kicking. And Mark, he's the Jazz, the writing's on the wall. We're playing for the future. Mark's going to go out there, maybe get his 32 minutes, but I don't expect huge output from him, especially in a tough matchup.
Sticking around the same game, let's go with a rebound prop for Kelly Oubre here, 6.5 boards. Do want Joel to be out for this one, I will say. If you look at the way he's played without Joel this season, but with PG and with Maxey, and keep in mind, Maxey is also questionable, so we don't know that he's going to play. But I don't think he impacts the rebounds very much, and I think he has a better shot of playing in this one than Joel does. So we'll assume for a minute that if he's playing with Maxey and no Joel out there, 10 games where that has been the case, over in 7 of 10, averaging 8.5. And I should say, too, those are with PG. If you take PG out of there, he's at 10.1 rebounds per game without all 3 of those guys. But I do expect Maxey to play. I also don't think Maxey's going to get in the way of his rebounding too much. So I think Kelly Oubre is going to be a very good bet in this one against the Bulls, who also give up a ton of rebounds and a ton of rebounds to forwards as well. So this is going to be a good spot for Kelly. When you look at the games, not even just the games, but the minutes that he's played on court, where he's out there without Embiid, but with Maxey and Paul George, he's looking at about 9.5 rebounds per 36. And I project him for at least 34 minutes in this game. The thing that kind of trips me up is Quentin Grimes is doing a lot of the same stuff that Kelly Oubre is doing. Hasn't really eaten into Oubre's points and rebounds. It has his assists for sure. So I'd be staying the hell away from Kelly Oubre assists. But points, if Joel is out and Maxey is out, points are great for Kelly Oubre. Either way, the rebounds are good. So I want to say the rebounds for now, no matter what. If you see Joel and Maxey out, definitely throw those points in there for Kelly O against this horrible Bulls defense. And that is all the time that we have for you in Play of Props. Definitely make sure to subscribe to that page. Check out both episodes that we're bringing you today and every day moving forward throughout this NBA season. And until we see you next, happy betting.